Is this thing working? Give me some sound over here.
Yeah.
The Out of Bounds Show is powered by the award-winning golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Good morning. Welcome in. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road. Take your golf game to another level. Before you go to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, go to Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Want to say good morning. Welcome in. Our guests join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. And we welcome in Mississippi State's new offensive coordinator. And he is Kevin Barbay, and he will be coaching Will Rogers, and among others, this spring and summer and fall. And Kevin Barbay, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Bo. Appreciate you having me on, man. Excited. Sorry for the hoarse voice. We had some mat drills this morning, so
nice.
Still recovering my voice a little bit here. But
now,
appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Hey, did you participate in the mat drills?
I did not participate, but I like to think I coach hard enough that I get my workout in by my effort coaching.
Got it. Hey, we didn't realize this till this morning. There was a guy yesterday at Duty Noble Field at the baseball game. I'd never heard of this. He did the 9-dog challenge. That's eating 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. And it was a student. We just had him on. Do you think that you could eat 9 hot dogs in 9 innings?
Man, I do not think I could eat 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. But I guess it really depends, Bo, on how big the hot dog is.
Good point.
Just a normal size hot dog, 1 an inning, maybe so. But if you're talking about, big foot longs or
jumbos,
whatever, I might.
Yeah, that could be a challenge. Jumbo hot dog, more than 1 or 2 of those could be. All right, so let's get into it. You've told this story. Well, you told us this story off the air, which was great. The way that you were hired, you were at Appalachian State, and then you get Zach Arnett hires you as his first offensive coordinator. You fly in, and it was like baptism by fire, Mississippi style, as far as the road trip you took. Tell our listeners, who picked you up, where you went, just all in like the first 24 hours of getting hired as the offensive coordinator at Mississippi State, Kevin.
Yeah, man, it was a wild turnaround, a wild day. Let me say that. Early in the morning, I was in a staff meeting at Appalachian State, full App State gear. We were talking a little wide zone and getting everything organized. Coach Arnett called during that meeting, and I stepped out to take the call. And he offered me the job and said, I need you on an airplane in 2 hours. And I said, well, Coach, I'm 2 hours from the airport. And he said, all right, I'll see you at 1. I called my wife, I stepped out and I told my boss there, Sean Clark, that I was, going to accept the Mississippi State OC job. And I told my staff, I called my wife and I said, hey, throw stuff in a bag. We got to go now to the airport. And so from Boone, North Carolina to the Charlotte airport is about 2 hours, and you got to come down that mountain. And so I sprinted as fast as I could to the airport, full App State gear, ran to my gate. I made it with 4 minutes boarding. Got on the airplane and flew over to Jackson from Charlotte. And still full App State gear. Got to the airport, changed, put me a coat and a dress shirt on. And then, Will Rogers' father picked me up and had a great visit with him in the car. Got to spend a little bit of time. And then he brought me basically to Coach Arnett and Coach Peterson, who were on the road and going to some events for the night.
Right.
So I land, obviously do that and then meet them and go straight to Indianola. Was my first trip here in Mississippi. Met a bunch of great people in Indianola. and then wrapped up at about 10 o'clock at night. And then we drove, I can't even tell you, Bo, where we drove to, but it was another hour or two north to go see Will Rogers at a duck camp. And, really was important that we, got to see Will Rogers immediately and really start building a relationship from the moment that I touched down in the state. And, it was a whirlwind. I can tell you that. Early in the morning, I was coaching for one team and getting everything organized there, and then a few hours later, I was sitting in Will Rogers duck camp talking about the offense. So,
okay, Kevin Barbay, offensive coordinator for Zach Arnett, Mississippi State. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. This interview is brought to you by Bulldog Burger in Ridgeland. All right, Coach, Wyatt Rogers has been a coach for 30 years, and you've been a coach for a long time. So was it, did y'all hit it off right out of the gate when he picked you up to take you up to the Delta, or was there like an awkward period?
No, we did. We hit it off, and I think it's, coaches are always easy to talk to one another. But, most importantly, it was more about not necessarily talking to me coach to coach as, a father wanting to see, who was going to be leading his son, and I felt like we hit it off, and he's a great guy, had a great visit, man. Very knowledgeable, he's a great football coach and got some good ideas. And, and really, to be honest with you, I like picking everybody's brains, and I learned a little bit from Wyatt Rogers on the drive, and I do that with everybody. But, most importantly, it was, just getting to see, who's going to be, involved in Will's life and who's
Sure.
going to be, pushing him and doing those things. And I think that's important. I'm a relationship-driven guy, and I think, the most important thing in affecting guys' lives is building relationships with them and that level of trust and knowing that you're investing in their lives for all the right reasons.
Kevin Barbay on the Out of Bounds show, MSU offensive coordinator. So Will Rogers, you're inheriting Will Rogers, and he started over 30 games as an SEC QB. And I would venture to guess you probably never inherited a guy with that much experience, but maybe you did at App State or Central Michigan. What's Kevin Barbay's approach as you and Will start to build this thing this spring, knowing that you've got a guy that's had this many reps at the SEC level? What's Kevin Barbay's approach?
Yeah, he from the moment that I've gotten here has been overly eager to get in here and learn the system. And, my approach with him is spend as much time as possible teaching him every little detail of the offense. And, I think anytime that you have a kind of a new system coming in, it's exciting for guys. And, he's obviously he's had a great career to this point, and he's, been coached phenomenal his whole life, so now I'm just getting to add on to the layers and give him, a little bit different approach of, how we go through progressions in this offense, and really just breaking down every little detail. And it's fun when you inherit guys that have a lot of experience, because you can kind of talk the same lingo, and you can ask, hey, well, what do you think? Well, what do you see here? Well, what do you like here? And, I think we're quickly building that relationship and that comfort level of trusting him and what he sees and, the directions that he needs to go with his progressions. My impressions of Will so far, he is a leader by example. I mean, he gets out there and he busts his tail in the morning mat drills. I think he's got a great level of toughness. And really in the quarterback position, we can sit there and everybody can analyze how strong your arm is or how this or how that. Man, at the end of the day, the single most important factor is leadership. And he's got that. And, I couldn't be more excited. I've enjoyed, being around him in this short amount of time. But, really diving in trying to, like I said earlier, invest in his life and really take him to the next level in teaching him a new offense.
You're listening to Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're visiting with Kevin Barbay. Unbelievable story on his first 24 hours as the Mississippi State offensive coordinator. Coach joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. So I know coaches hate this. What offense, what defense do you run? Because coaches don't like to be cornered, and y'all do so many things, multiple, this, that, and the other. But so how would you describe ideally what you want to do other than score touchdowns on offense?
Yeah. Describing it ideally, I would say that I am a balanced attack guy. I do believe in running the football, and running the football sets up your play actions. And, to me, it's all about protecting the football and creating explosives. And your explosives are created by being able to run the football. I think from a balanced standpoint, where you're able to run the ball, you're able to take shots with play action, you're able to complete some drop back stuff, you're screening, and you're given a bunch of different personnel groups and multiple formations and motions and, a bunch of dressing. But on the same token, you want to make it as simple as possible for your guys and the guys that are executing on offense. So, I would call it, multiple. But really, Bo, at the end of the day, and you guys have heard me say this before, but you got to evaluate, right, who your best 11 guys are.
Sure.
And you got to get them on the field. And you got to figure out what are the things that this individual does good, right? What are the things that, this other guy does good? A running back and a receiver and maybe a tight end, they all do things that are a little bit different, but you can create explosives with a bunch of different guys. So really figuring out what your guys can do and putting them in the best positions. And then you formation and motion and shift to try to get your guys in the best alignment to take advantage of the defense's weaknesses.
So as you and Will Rogers work together, we're visiting with Kevin Barbay. As you and Will Rogers work together, when I read the book Peyton and Breeze, it talked about how Sean, they would put things together, put game plans together, go through things, and finally Sean Payton would go, Drew, what do you like? What do you, out of everything what do you like as we go into this matchup, or what do you like is that something that you do with your quarterback, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in situational football, when you're talking about high red and third downs, I'm always, asking the quarterbacks, okay, let's go through these 7 concepts here and let's talk about them. Let's rank them. What do you like or what do you not like, right? What do you not feel comfortable with? And those are the things that you got to eliminate and throw out. But I think the key is explaining the why in everything that you do. And when you explain why we are running this concept, right, whether it's a man coverage beater or a cover 2 beater or, whatever it is, maybe it's a blitz beater. This is the reason why we're doing it, and this is why it's going to work. Guys get a much better appreciation of, the concept of the play and why we're doing things. So I believe with Will, I can already tell, he's a very intelligent young man.
Sure.
And knows a lot of ball. And he is a guy that, I will go through and let him have, his ownership in the offense and his opinions. And, there'll be times where I go, hey, look, we have to run this in order to get this matchup and, run this concept. But, I think that only creates ownership and, more investment in the quarterback when you give them a little bit of leeway to make decisions, what they like and what they don't like.
Okay. Kevin Barbay, Mississippi State offensive coordinator for Zach Arnett and the crew. He'll be coaching Will Rogers, Mike Wright, among others. Justin Robinson, Tulu, list goes on and on. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. So you mentioned tight end. I know y'all didn't have a lot. The system hasn't had a tight end the last few years, and now that'll be a little bit of a transition, and you haven't had a lot of time. Y'all landed a dude from Georgia and you may, spot another athlete that you feel like you could play there. What would you like to see? How would you like to use a tight end in the Kevin Barbay offense?
That's a great question. I like having, kind of two different types of tight ends, right? And I like having a big inline guy that's, almost like an extra tackle that can really, create a new line of scrimmage and drive guys, move guys off the ball. But I also think it's really important that you have a more athletic guy that might be able to insert on linebackers or slice back across the formation, use him in the RPO game, get him in the flats, just a bigger athlete that, can seal edges for you, but can also, help you in the pass game and specifically the RPO game, where, when you're calling runs and they overload the box, and there's too many guys in there, then you're taking advantage of an overloaded box and slipping it out to the tight end, whether that be in the flat or vertical downfield or on a corner. So to me, the tight end position is the most versatile position on the field because, you want, as big a athletes as you possibly can get. And, again, every year, every tight end has different strengths, and part of spring ball is discovery mode and finding out, what it is that this guy does good and how we can utilize him. And like I said, everybody is got a different skill set, so we'll play to whatever their strength is.
We just had a listener text us that you need a Travis Kelce type tight end. Would you be okay with that?
Yes, Kelsey wants to come on, man. Tell him let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought that was
I
profound.
That's a great analogy, and obviously he's a phenomenal player.
Sure.
But that's what we are looking for, right? Is big athletes. They're going to have to block some defensive ends. The guys that aren't as big and don't do that as well, we're not going to ask them to do those things. We're going to ask them to, block linebackers and safeties. And so, there's two types of different tight ends. But I really, earlier when I said about finding the best 11, heck, you might have, 3 running backs that are in your best 11, and you put those guys on the field somehow, some way.
Sure.
To me, it's about not just, staying in one single personnel group. It's, finding how the best 11 in this personnel group function in this personnel group, whether that be 2 running backs in this personnel, whether that be 1 here and 4 wideouts, whether that be 2 tight ends and 1 running back, and then just kind of having a bunch of different packages within all of those.
Will you create a package for Mike Wright? Because his skill set is so different than Will Rogers?
He does have a different skill set. We'll go through spring ball and we'll see, what all Mike is really able to do within the offense. He's another really, really sharp guy that's got SEC experience as well. And, I don't know that I'm going to have any specific packages just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a guy that's really going to be able to operate this offense at a high level.
And, all right, we'll wrap it up with this. I'm going to give you my one recommendation. I know you're going to just really write this down with a Sharpie.
I got my pen right now.
Okay, so here's my one recommendation for Kevin Barbay. There's a guy on your team by the name of Justin Robinson. He's like 6'5", 220. I would consider him as a red zone target. That's all I got.
Okay. J-Rob, red area. Now, if I get J-Rob as a red area target and I throw a touchdown, right? Who's getting the credit here? Do you get the credit, Bo?
Hopefully you'll tweet to me after the game and say credit goes to Bo Bounce.
Okay. All right. Now, if it doesn't work, all right, and I target him and it doesn't work out, I'm going to also tweet, okay?
Yeah, I got to take
Bo,
that too. Yep.
How about
Look, I can do both. I can take the good and the bad. Hey, Kevin Barbay, thanks so much for the time today. Great story on how you got to Jackson and the Delta and a duck camp with Will Rogers. Appreciate your time. Look forward. I know you're excited about this first spring and working with all the new toys and bells and whistles and so on, get to know your players. We appreciate your time. We'll catch up again soon, okay?
All right. Thanks, Bo.
Take care. Kevin Barbay, Mississippi State offensive coordinator. He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. That interview was brought to you by Bulldog Burger in Ridgeland, Starkville, and Tupelo. Blake, scale of 1 to 10, my recommendation to Coach Barbay.
Yeah, I'd say it was 100. I'd say throw the ball to Justin Robinson is always a good idea.
What did you think about the listener?
I don't know why that's doing that.
What did you think about the listener that said he needs a Travis Kelce type tight end?
Don't we all need that?
Yeah, I love that. He's only the best in the game.
Ever.
And probably ever. So, wow. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on thezone1059.com and the Out of Bounds radio app. We're going to have Matt Jeffries, Matty J, with Fertile Ground Beer and Fertile Ground Brewery in Bellhaven. They've got a beautiful tap room. Stop by any day of the week. But we're going to have them on because Bulldog Burger's having a tap takeover of Fertile Ground Beer this afternoon between 5 and 8. And here's what's going to be on tap. Contours of Light Cherry Sour, Fertile Ground Pilsner, Mismo Mexican Lager, which is delicious. And a new beer that they have is Forgotten Space IPA. I need to know who named that beer. We'll ask Matty J at 9:30. He'll be live in studio. You can watch the show. Go to YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. And we would love for you to hit subscribe. We've got a lot of video up there from yesterday, day before, last week, and so on. And Tanner Allen was on the show yesterday. And, we had Brad Logan, Ole Miss Insider, joined us in studio yesterday. So all kinds of fun stuff. But the tap takeover by Fertile Ground is today from 5 to 8 p.m. at Bulldog Burger in Ridgeland, Lake Harbor. They're also going to have like glassware, shirts, stickers, all kinds of fun stuff. And they're doing a growler raffle tonight where the winner gets a 64-ounce growler of Fertile Ground beer. And the second, third get a 32-ounce growler of their choice. So that's fun. Thanks to Kevin Barbay for hanging out with us. Hour number 3 coming up at the Out of Bounds Show. Don't forget, you can go to Apple Podcast or Spotify and search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds and go back and listen to any of the segments on the Rebs or Dogs or, whatever nonsense we're talking about. Like a guy earlier today joined us, Brooks Bryant. He did the 9-dog challenge, 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. Could be our best segment of the month. And he jumped on the show. PGM major from Atlanta at Mississippi State. And Blake caught it on Twitter last night because that's where the magic happens. Whether it's Donald Trump or Elon Musk, it's where the magic happens. But Brooks Bryant was on Twitter talking about his 9-dog challenge, and we had him on the show. Check out Apple Podcast, Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Back in a second.